is efficient and is verifiable. You said about the system you are using is simple and verifiable. How can you make the transmission of results simple, efficient, verifiable, and transparent? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, panelists, for that question. And it's something that has been bothering me, panelists and chair, especially the transmission to the central tallying center. And that is, if I become a commissioner, I will still ask the same question: that do we need a central tallying center in the first place? Do we really need that when we've already confirmed, confirmed the results at the polling stations before I come to technology? Why don't we, like the US, they don't have the central tallying center. Whatever has been read, the media can pick it, and anyone can do the tabulation and come up with the results. And if we are fair to ourselves, and we can do it, and we trust our media, I know we'll say, oh, you have this political affiliation, this media. Even in the US, they have it. You'll find Fox is supporting another formation, CNN supporting another formation. But when it comes to tallying what comes in, they come up with the same figure. Can't we as a country stick to what we have at the polling station, and we allow the political parties, we allow the media to do their tallying, they come up with their results? Now, in terms of technology, I think we've concentrated too much on ICT.
I'm sure we can do all that you're saying.
Yes.
But considering that we have only 2 years, it's unlikely that we are going to change the system. And it is also unlikely that we are going to start trusting the media or trusting ourselves. So let's work with what we have. And let's work in responding to my question, confine yourself with what we have, because it's not going to change before 2027, please.
Okay, thank you. I know we are focused on 2027, but this commission also will be appointed to be in office for 6 years. After the 2027 election, if we do what we can do, we should also think of the long term on how we can cure that. But with the technology we have, I think we only need to have an improvement in technology on what we have. When we look at technology, we try to confine ourselves to ICT. Technology is not only about ICT. Technology is the entire electoral process. In terms of logistics, and coming from the mechanical engineering point of view, where we have the layout, you have the queuing system, do we look at our polling stations, the 42,000 plus, and we look at the layout, how are they laid so that when people come, we have voting taking place of 700 should take place in a very short time, and we count the vote and we transmit the results. Now, when we start transmitting the results, we always think of, oh, the system failed. During the procurement of those systems, do we ask the hard questions? Can this system work in adverse conditions like cold weather, hot weather, humidity, all that? Should be asked about technology. If we can improve on that and on our transmission system with the local service providers like Safaricom and all that, we should be able to get it right.
Thank you, Engineer Juma, and all the best. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to ask FCP Atanui to ask you some questions.
Engineer Juma.
Thank you.
Yeah. In the past, I think Fortune 500 companies, the leading CEOs or the best performing CEOs of those companies used to be holders of masters in business administration. But the trend has changed. Now, engineers are leading in those companies, the Fortune 500 companies. They are the ones taking over CEO's position compared to holders of masters of business administration. So how, being an engineer, how will your engineering skills and experience help IEBC to ensure that they have better logistics and procurement efficiency, appreciating the challenges that IEBC have been facing in the recent past? Thank you.
Thank you. You are right. The trend has changed, and that's why I also decided to take a course in MBA in operations management. How my knowledge can help, coupled with engineering, is the logistical process of IBC. There's something we call in engineering operations research. When I want to conduct elections, how many queues should I have in a polling station, or what would be the voting time? You do analysis of that, and how is the environment of that polling station? Then you multiply that with the number of polling stations you have. In terms of voter registration, how do I carry seamless voter registration continuously with the statistics that we have? As an engineer and a scientist with a knowledge in business administration, I think that would help IBC in trying to do the continuous voter registration and analyze the data and look at how the operations can be scheduled.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to ask Evans Misati to ask you some questions. Kindly, Evans.
Thanks so much, Chair. Collins, I also wanted to ask you a question in relation to the preparation towards the 2022 general election. If you succeed and become one of the commissioners, from where you sit, what do you think are the priority things that you can do before the 2027 elections? Priority areas. Just mention them.
I think priority areas, we've even discussed one of them is to look at the transmission, because that's the system we are going to use. The other one is voter education. I don't think we've done very well as a country on voter registration. The other priority area is voter apathy. How do we ensure that our people are back to the voting, to the polling stations and vote? Because we have to find a way of the Commission gaining confidence of the public that they can carry a very transparent, verifiable, and fair election. As a Commissioner, we really have to work on this so that we gain the confidence of the public if we have to get a good voter turnout. The other area is bringing the political parties together so that they have the confidence in the process that the Commission is carrying out. I think now the confidence of the political parties in the Commission is very low. That has to be brought for some of those parties to accept that the Commission can produce good results. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Now, from your understanding, what are the subcommittees of the IEBC, and why do they have those subcommittees?
IEBC, I think they have ICT committee, they have HR and training committee, they have operations committee, they have audit and risk, which is always very important in any organization to map out the risk. ICT, as I said, it's a confined committee. It's a committee that should be expanded because it only looks at the ICT issues and maybe doesn't look at the logistics of what the ICT could gain. HR and training is okay, but I don't know the feeling out there of the voter education, how the public perceives it. Then we have the Finance and Procurement Committee, which deals with finance and procurement of the voter registration and voter operations kits.
Thanks so much, and I wish you well. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you. I ask Fatuma to also ask you some questions, please.
Thank you, Chair. Would you kindly tell the panel what what the role of the independent national and international election observers are? What roles do they play? And also, how do they differ? How different are they?
The independent national and international election observers.
Yes.
Yeah, the national election observers are our local observers here, like the NGOs, the stakeholders of the commission and partners. International observers, we have observers from out of the country. That is the international electoral observers from maybe UN and from other countries. I think the observers are supposed to give some, what do you call it, credence to the electoral process. Like many observers, if you get their exit poll, they would give their report on whether the elections were fair or elections were not fair. And basically, I think that's what they're supposed to do.
Do you have examples of those that are international?
Yes, I've said they have almost the same role.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask Nicodemus Pore to ask you some questions. Nicodemus, please.
Thank you, Chair. Gordon, you are aspiring to be a commissioner.
Yes.
At IEBC.
Yes.
And you are the CEO of a nuclear agency.
No, I left.
You left.
I left in 2023.
Is it part of the parastatals that are being merged?
Yes, yeah, it's one of the parastatals that are supposed to be merged. Yeah.
Why is it? Did it have a duplication of roles with other agencies?
Well, I don't want to purport to be talking for them, but they don't have any duplicating roles to other agencies because nuclear energy is very unique as compared to other sources. If you talked of hydro, thermal, geothermal, it's very unique. The nuclear, also the regulation of nuclear is very, very different from the regulation of other energy sources. So I think the merging is an issue that the government has been trying for years. Even when I was there, it was supposed to be merged actually from day one when I joined. But we've been trying to explain that nuclear is run from the International Atomic Energy Agency in terms of guidelines from the UN, and they have their guidelines on how a member state is supposed to set up an organization. I think voice of reasoning will come to that. Yeah.
Why I'm asking that is because maybe because of errors of omission and commission, as a leader, you are not able to prop it up properly so that it can have its space in the energy sector.
Well, I think it's been propped up properly. That's why it's been there for the last 12 years or so. But nuclear is very emotive in the sense that any question about nuclear should be explained. The public also have to be convinced that we are doing nuclear for peaceful uses of atomic energy or application of nuclear science and technology. But we also have what we call the anti-nukes, and they are not only in Kenya, they are in every country, even the ones which are doing well in production of nuclear energy.
So as a member of the IEBC, how will you ensure that your decisions and leadership reflect the long-term national interests rather than short-term political pressures?
I think the issue of short-term political pressure, when you are working with the confines of the law that guides the IBC operation, should not come into play, because IBC Act is very clear on what the Commission is supposed to do. And I think, in 2 words, follow the law without the political pressures.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Bore. I want to ask Professor Adam Solo to ask you some questions. Prof, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Engineer.
Yes, Prof.
Integrity is key in any electoral process. what concrete steps would you take were you to be a commissioner to prevent favorism, particularly in hiring and procurement within the IEBC?
Yes, Prof. I get the sensitivity of those two in terms of hiring, but I think IEBC has a policy for hiring either of staff or hiring of other resources that are not within the operations of IEBC. And they have laws guiding this. As I've just answered the other question, the best thing is just to follow the law. In terms of procurement, procurement is a very sensitive activity in any organization, and that's why we have the Procurement and Disposal Act. The Commission also has roles for the Secretariat and roles for the Commission. And they are very clear that the Commission is supposed to review or make policies and pass them over to the Secretariat to implement on a day-to-day basis. I would understand that one, those levels want to do the work of the other, which would be against the law. And I've gone through this in my space as a CEO, where some board members want to do the procurement of what the staff is supposed to do. I think each level of IEBC, whether the Secretariat or the Commission, should act within the confines of what they're supposed to do.
Very well. My last question. Political influence or attempts to infiltrate the IEBC through commissioners is a risk that past commissions have faced. What should commissioners do to mitigate this risk?
Well, there'll always be attempts to infiltrate not only the Commission but any other organization where the interests or the stakes are high, like IEBC. But I think the Commission has an oath to take, and the consequences of that oath is understood very well. The only thing I want to add, Prof, is that even in our electoral processes, especially the Election Offences Act, I don't think our penalties are high enough to prevent us from doing the things that we are told to do, and they are not supposed to be done. I think those are some of the areas that should be enhanced, that the penalties are as good as what we see in Korea, what we see in China. And I don't think that will take place if we enhance that.
What do you say to the fact that past commissioners who have left office in unclear circumstances end up being rewarded with other state positions?
Well, I'm not saying it's right, where it happens anyway, but I think that should go beyond the Commission and go to us as a country. Where do we want to be as a country? If that's what we want to do, then all these things we are talking of, transparency, verifiable, then we'll be just playing music for us to listen to ourselves. I think it's beyond the Commission, but it goes to the political leadership. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Engineer, which Korea did you refer to?
In terms of
penalties?
South Korea.
Okay. Thank you.
South Korea.
I would like to ask Prof to come back again.
Sorry, Chair. Which word is universally used to refer to the right to vote? I can pass. Let me ask the second one.
It's suffrage. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I withdraw my pass and we will take that answer on board.
Yeah.
which is the total composition, or what is the total composition of the cabinet in Kenya in terms of number?
25.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Engineer. It's been a great pleasure listening to you, but also just seeing the nexus between science and elections. And we look forward to engaging other candidates as they come and review how they reflect on the use of science in the manner that you have also reflected on it. We are extremely grateful. I want to ask you if you have any question, any comment to make briefly so that we can come to the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair and panelists. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and have this conversation about our country. It is not about me being the commissioner of IEBC. It's about being honest about our country and where we want to take it. And I won't take this for granted. I don't have any other question that I would ask, but I would only make a comment that I've been trying to imagine that if this panel doesn't find suitable candidate for the 6 commissioners and also for the chair, what would happen? I know the chance is 1 over a million, but it exists.
We take your comment on board, and we have recourse in law just in case that happened.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please pick your certificates. There's a bottle of water there. Notebook is yours. And wish you well. Thank you. Okay, can we get the next candidate, please?